Hi, Hannah. Hi, everybody. Good morning.
All right, so I think you're going to begin, so I'm going to mute myself. Uh,
Yeah,
and if I had anything to say, I'll just add.
sure.
Okay.
Okay, hi again, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for joining today. I hope that everyone is in good shape. Um, so I believe that most of you have already taken AFK. So I'm sure that it went great. I'm pretty sure that you did a lot better than you think. Just don't think about the results and just let it be. Because like after the exam, like your mind tends to like exaggerate the mistakes and just makes everything a big deal. So just forget it. You did an amazing job. Congratulations. So from what I hear is that a lot of you have questions about like what to do now and what if you want to like continue with the direct licensing pathway or go forward with the university pathway. All right. So definitely do something. Don't sit down and not do anything. Okay. So what you need to do is to just have a plan and move forward. All right. Because you're now fresh. And I'm not asking you not to take a rest, but you're not fresh. So it's gonna be a lot better if you just keep going and keep your consistency. So I just want to invite Dr. Hannah to just talk a little bit about ADAT, all right? And let us know how it is, what it is, how the process is, what they need to do, whatever that you feel that it's useful for us. Thank you.
For those who haven't spoken with me, I'm Hannah. I'm third year student in McGill right now, so I was where you guys were last year this time. Um, so ADAT exam is a exam run by ADA, so it's an American exam. So in order to take it, you will need an evaluation of your degree by ECE. So the same way you got your evaluation through NDEB to register for AFK and go through the licensing process, you will need to do the same process for ADA, and then you will be able to register. It runs between March till August, so you can't take it right now. You can't register for it right now, but as soon as March 1st it opens, you can register and you can pick your date. So I know you guys struggled with registering for AFK. Finding a seat is always a nightmare, but it's not like that for ADAT. You'll always have a seat in almost every city, except the province of Quebec. Every other city you can register and take your ADAT exam. The exam itself has three parts. And to your point, Dr. Dela, since you have studied for AFK, you will be able to cover the clinical sciences part of the ADAT exam quite smoothly. In my opinion, ADAT exams clinical science is not as difficult as AFK. So if you've passed AFK or if you feel confident with your AFK knowledge, you won't have an issue in ADAT clinical science. But ADAT exam has two other sections as well. So there's clinical science, which I'm sure you guys won't have any problem with. Then there's basic science, so 80 questions of clinical science, 80 questions of basic science, and 40 questions of biostatistics. For the basic science part, it includes anatomy, including general anatomy of the body, physiology, biochemistry, microbiology, and everything you guys basically studied in the first to second year of your dental school. So for those who have graduated a while ago, like myself, it had been a while that these had been taught to me. So I had to go and learn from scratch, basically. So to just give you an example, maybe you will remember the Krebs cycle in biochemistry, or in physiology, the sounds of the heart, the interpretation of an EKG, electrocardiogram, or in anatomy, your head and neck anatomy, I'm sure you have had a little bit of basic science in AFK. I know there's a few lectures on that, but this will be a lot more extensive. So it will involve all of the body and with a focus again on the head and neck anatomy. So you will need to know the branches of maxillary artery, for example, the branches of external carotid artery. You will need to know cranial nerves, their innervation. You will need to know neuroanatomy. So That is the heavy part of ADAT exam. That's why I think anyone who has already taken AFK should attribute at least 3 months of full-time study to ADAT preparation, which means you guys have a lot of time right now. So it's perfect timing if you begin in a month or two. I understand you all need to rest. We all need to rest after AFK exam. So after that, you'll still have enough time for your ADAT preparation. The last part is 40 questions of biostatistics. It'll be mostly conceptual questions. So there will be some calculation-based questions, which there's a formula, you just plug in the numbers, you get the answer, pretty straightforward. For example, you will be asked to calculate the sensitivity or specificity or negative predictive value, positive predictive value, all these good stuff. But then there's some conceptual questions such as, what do you like? Do you know really what p-value is? Or do you really know what a t-test means? What is the indication to use a t-test? And not that you've memorized it, do you actually know what it is? So the question will really try and find out if you know what those concepts are. I would say most of the students find this part challenging, and I understand because our background is not mathematics, it's not statistics. We try our best to prepare you, but the part where you will be able to score high and score competitively will be the basic science. So my recommendation to every student taking ADAT is maximize your basic science knowledge. That way you will score really high in your basic science. That will pull your entire score up and you will score a very competitive score. Almost all of Canadian schools right now require ADAT exam for their entrance. They might have another additional exam, such as a bench test, which is a practical test. They might have interviews, they might evaluate your resume, but most of them need ADAT. And you can take ADAT more than once. There will be an interval between each exam that you take. So the first time you will need to wait, I think, 15 days. I can double check these numbers. The second time you will need to wait a month. The third time you will need to wait times in between. But the caveat is once you apply to a school, they will be able to see all of your attempts and their scores. So again, our recommendation is to just take it and try and take it once. So your goal will be to score the highest you can in your first attempt. If after the exam it's not what you need, then we'll have a conversation and we'll decide what to do. But to begin, your target is not going to be, oh, I'm going to take it 5 times. Your target is going to be, I'm going to give it my best and take it once. We have in Comfy Dentist, I think, pre-recorded courses and live courses. The courses that are live have 2 starting dates. One is in November and one is in January. Depends on your personal goals, which one you start with. I'm always online Monday and Thursday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern time. If you have like personal specific questions like, hey, doctor, this is my specific situation. What do you think I should do? What do you think I should start? I'm also happy to take questions right now. But that would be the overview of the exam and I think things you need to know. But if I didn't think of anything, please let me know and I'm happy to answer.
Thank you so much for the thorough explanation. So we have one question here that is saying, what is the good score for ADAT?
So great question. ADAT doesn't report a pass or fail, okay? So it just reports you a total score, for example, 720, and then it breaks it down to your clinical science, basic science, and biostat scores separately. No one really knows how it's scored because the questions are weighted, meaning depending on how difficult they were or how many other people were able to get it right, the questions have different weights, okay? So I can't tell you like you need to answer this many correct questions for this score. As with what the score is good for Canadian universities, it is very competitive because of the number of the seats that they have. So for example, U of T has 40 seats, McGill has 88 seats. And if you go to any of the universities, they will usually say on their website the number of the seats they have each year, and they're pretty limited. compared to US. So because of that, they try and pick the best scores. Of course, there's other factors. They take your GPA into consideration. They take your interview skills into consideration, which is why we really work on your interview skills. But when it comes to ADAT, I would say U of T and McGill require the highest ADAT. Then it drops to Alberta, Western, and then it drops to Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and other universities, Dalhousie and others. So for U of T, unfortunately, they're not transparent. McGill is very transparent. So if you go to their website, it says exactly what the average ADAT score of those who got an interview was, what the average score of those who got accepted was. So you can just like very straightforward, very transparent. It was around, I think, 650 or 640. I can put it in the group for McGill last year. But U of T is not as transparent. It's just historically we've like talked to people who've got in, and it's somewhere around the same number. So for these two universities, I would say your target should be above 600, which is completely achievable, because basic science questions are not complicated. They're just rote memorization. Like if you read a sentence 5 times, you're gonna remember it. That's the key to getting a high score on ADAT, just memorizing and then reviewing it as many times as you can, because the questions are pure rote memorization. I'm not saying if you score 570, 560, you're not going to have a chance. You are going to still apply to other universities. It just depends on your priorities. If you're in Ontario, well, your first choice is U of T, then it's Western. And the tuitions are different. So again, that is the next step of this journey. For now, try and focus on getting the highest score you can. After you receive your score, then we'll have a conversation. Okay, so these are your options. I think you should apply to these ones. Plus, it's again based on multiple factors. So if you don't have a good GPA, I would say study harder, study longer. Instead of 3 months, go 4, go 5, go 6, because you need to compensate for your GPA by your ADAT score. All these factors are taken into account.
Okay, thank you for that. So what are the steps to apply for ADAT? Is there any specific portal for that? What is the expense for it?
Yeah, so I think the expense is around 1,500 USD. I can quickly double check that. For the process, so I told you, just as I'm just gonna double check the price of ADAT exam. So the process, just as the NDEB process, I don't know if you remember, but you sent your degrees, like your transcripts and your degree and their translation, if they're not in English, should be sent directly from your university by email. So thank God everything is electronic. You don't need the hard copies of anything. So your university emails those to ECE. It's an evaluation organization, just like WES, WES, that you had for NDEB. You have ECE here. I'm happy to help you through the process. So if you're going through the ECE registration and you're like, oh, I don't know which one I should pick, like, you can text me, again, within those hours. But basically, you need a course by course evaluation. And when it asks you, do you want it for US or for Canada, you pick US, because again, ADAT is a US exam. I know you're going for Canadian universities, but when it asks you pick US, again, it's going to ask you, do you want an overall evaluation or course by course evaluation? You're going to pick course by course. And then it's pretty straightforward. Once they receive your degree and your transcripts, it takes, I think, 1 or 2 weeks. It's not the nightmare you have lived with NDEB. 1 or 2 weeks, you will have an account. You will have to go to ADA website and create an account. It's called DentPin, DENTPIN. It's basically like you're opening a Gmail, like you enter your personal information and it gives you a code. That code is your DentPin, and you're going to keep that. So once you have your DentPin, once you have your ECE evaluation, then you're gonna wait for March. in March, you're going to be able to register for the exam. Again, you will have options in every city, almost every city, not in province of Quebec, unfortunately. And then, yeah, you pick, and then you can reschedule as well without any fees. That's the good part about ADAT. So, for example, if you register for April, April comes and you're just not ready, so you can like push it back to May, to June, but it has to be until August. Otherwise, you'll lose the price you paid for your exam if you go and push it to the next cycle. Yeah, so that's the process.
Mm-hmm. Do they consider, this is not about ADAT, but I think there's no harm in answering it. So do they consider research with it back home into considerations for the schools?
Yeah, good question. So depends on the university, I think. So if you see for U of T, once you go through the application process, there's not even a place you can upload your CV. So from the point where they get your application to the point where they give you an interview, they know nothing about your resume, basically. So they're making their decision solely based on your GPA and your ADAT and your IELTS score. Okay, so but McGill and almost all of the other universities will require you to upload your CV. And in that CV, obviously, you're going to include your education, you're going to include your work experience, and you're going to include your research experience, any other soft skills you have, like, you know, a good resume will include all of this. And I'm sure they take all of these into account when evaluating you. And then also, if you have a very strong research background, you can highlight it during your interview. Either they will ask you directly, or you could find ways to put it in. Like they will ask you, what is something you've done in your life that you're proud of, or what is your strength, or what was a good time where you showed that you have leadership skill. So you can like find those questions and immediately be like, oh, like I was coordinator in this research project and I showed leadership skills and I loved it. So like you can highlight those in your interview.
Okay, thank you. So
Welcome.
this, I think this is a very important question. I get this a lot as well.
Mhm.
So they're asking they do not have PR citizenship. Is it worth trying for ADAT?
Is it worth it? In what sense? In terms of an option B, yes. You know, it's a personal choice. It really depends on your priorities. Like, if you're like me and you like to have options so you get less anxious, then that's a good option B, you know? I even had an option C. Like, I was doing my ACJ, I took ADAT for Canada, and I took INDB for US universities, just in case. I ended up in McGill, but I think I was less anxious during my McGill interview because I knew I have all of these options. If this fails, there's option B, option C. Also, it depends how much do you see yourself passing the NDECC exam. Um, I'm not saying it's an impossible exam, but it is a challenging one. I didn't want to put myself through that. And I think going back to university for 2 to 3 years was worth it for me. Again, based on my priorities. Someone is like, you know, I've immigrated to Canada. I plan to stay in Canada forever. That wasn't me. So I wanted the option to be able to move to Australia, US, France, whatever. Like, I don't want to be bound by this country. In the equivalency process, you will be only able to work in Canada. So for me, it was worth it. But for someone else, it might not be, because what's the point if you just need a Canadian license? Do you learn significantly more than you did in your home university in here? Again, depends what your education was at home. So at my university, when I compare it to McGill, I think I'm not necessarily learning more, but I'm learning to enjoy dentistry. So that is what McGill is doing for me. But it depends like what your home university was. Do you feel confident? Do you feel like you are prepared as a dentist to practice and you don't need more teaching? Then go for NDEC. Do you feel like, no, I want to go back to school, I want to learn it the Canadian way, then it is worth it. Like, that is a very general question, depends on your what matters to you.
Yeah, I would say like if you're in Canada, like you are eventually going to have PR and citizenship. So it's not a bad idea, that's Dr. Hannah said, to have your options open, like option A, option B. So obviously your option A will be equivalency process because you still don't have PR. Maybe that works out sooner for you and just you finish it until you get your PR. But if not, why not? Like, yeah, sure. Um, so that opens up to another question. So how long is like your ADAT's results is valid for?
Sorry, it is valid. I think I'm actually reading the exam guide right now. It is valid indefinitely, but it depends on the on the university. So if you go to any university's website, it says ADAT scores should be from like last 2 years or last 5 years. But I think you should be fine even within 5 years. It doesn't really expire. Just it's like INDB. It's that it doesn't expire. As long as your university is fine with it, the exam itself doesn't expire.
Uh-huh, okay, that's good to know. So how long does it take for them to give you the results? Will
Super
giving them
quick.
in so they're giving the exam in April
Okay.
and still give us can they apply and not miss a deadline? I think the deadline for different schools are different though, right?
Yeah, yeah. So that was two questions. The first one is how long does it take for you to get your results? Super quick. So the website itself, I think says 3 to 4 weeks just to get you off their back. But I got mine in like a week, and usually people get it within that same range, like 1 to 2 weeks. So it's super quick. And the second question was, will I be able to reach the deadlines? Yes, April is pretty fine. Even until end of May is fine. I wouldn't go past that. It's risky for U of T because the deadline. So the deadlines are all throughout the year. The first one is Miguel, which is March, which is very inconvenient because like you guys are not gonna get that because like not enough time. But then it comes to U of T end of June. Then the rest are around August, September. And that's a good thing because you will hear from U of T before the deadline of the other universities. So you can hold on applying to those because it's like the application fee is $150 something. So you can just not apply, wait for U of T. If you didn't get into U of T, then apply for those. Does that make sense? Like Alberta, Western, all of these, you can wait.
And what about IELTS score?
Mhm.
Again, it's different for school, each school by school, right?
Yeah, so again, each school has a threshold. You can't go below that. Usually it's like 7, 6.5 overall, or like 7 overall, 6.5 each score, or around that number. And then the higher the better. And that's one way they assess your English. The second way is through the interview. So you will have to be able to express yourself, answer the questions comfortably, have a good command of English to be professional. So all of that. Yeah, but as long as you're able to communicate, I don't think they're that picky about it. I haven't heard
Mhm.
anyone be like, I didn't get in because of my IELTS score, as long as it's above that threshold of 6.57.
Okay. And for registration, we need to have the permanent residency in Canada or US? Canada.
It is a US exam, but you're applying to Canadian universities, so it had nothing to do with your US. I don't even have a US visa. Like, I've never been to US.
Yeah, so how it works is that like I don't think for taking ADAT itself, they don't even ask you where you're from or who you are. It doesn't matter if you're Canadian, US, like Iranian, Indian, like and
Yeah.
when you want to apply to universities in Canada, you have to be Canadian, like permanent
Mhm.
resident or citizen.
Exactly. I just wanted to add to the IELTS question, since it's again language related. Um, Miguel plays with French. We're not really sure what it's doing, but in 2024 there was a French requirement of at least B1. In 2025 it removed it, so people who got in this year don't know French. And next year on the website, it says we're gonna need French, but I don't trust the website because it's not usually updated. So I'll keep you posted. You might have a chance of McGill. It might remove French requirement, or if you know French, just reach out to me. We'll talk about it. But yeah, I just wanted to say that McGill is the exception where it needs French and English.
I saw something yesterday, I think it's yesterday or 2 days ago on the website that said like you need that B1 before you enter the clinical
Yeah,
part
yeah,
of the, yeah.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like right now on the website, it needs B1, but this March it accepted people who didn't know French.
Hmm.
And the next March is too far for it to update the website, I think. Like, I'm gonna still wait. Because I
Okay.
know what is happening internally. Like, internally, my guild really doesn't care about you knowing French. It's just the pressure of Quebec government on it. So,
Mhm.
I still have a hope.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's hope that works out for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have something to say?
Yeah, so for U of T, your IELTS should be overall band of 6.5 with no band below 6. And I'm just reviewing the other ones, the other universities. I think
Hannah,
most of you are from Ontario, but yeah, go on. Sorry to
I
interrupt.
think your internet connection is not very stable. It's getting interrupted.
I'm done. Can you hear me now? No.
Yeah,
Can
I
you hear
can
me
hear.
now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm on my Wi-Fi. I don't know what else I can do.
No, it's okay now. Like it just keeps getting interrupted. Wait, that's it's okay now.
Okay.
I have a like in the adding to that, like I have a suggestion, something that I did myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like for the universities, just create a table
Mm-hmm.
and write down all of the requirements for each of the universities all together so you can compare so you will not miss something. So because it's different, like the IELTS, the deadlines, the times,
Mm-hmm.
the dates, it's all different for each university. So you don't want to miss out on any of them.
Exactly.
So question, if you're going to university, how long do you have to study, 2 or 3 years?
Mm-hmm. So right now, all of the universities have 3-year programs except U of T, which is 2 years and a half.
Okay. Doing AFK course is not enough to pass ADAT, or do you recommend to do ADAT course to cover more parts from the exam and get better score?
So regardless of whether you do a course with us or not, because I believe in people's learning techniques being different. Some people learn better with a course, some people learn better with a self-study. I don't care about that part, but you need to study basic science, which was not covered in AFK. So either through the course or through self-study of a note, but you have not studied anything on basic science of the ADAT exam.
I don't know, but I think what I mean is that like imagine that you have taken AFK already.
Mhm.
So if you want to take an ADAT course, would you go for the full course or like only the basic science and the research?
Oh, that's a difficult question. I took my AFK in February, took my INDBE in March, and took my ADAT in May. So I was pretty close. I didn't re-study a clinical science, but I reviewed it. I reviewed, there's part of clinical science that you learn once and you get it and you don't have to review it again. Like, I don't know, like a shape of a class 2 amalgam is never going to go off your head, but perio charts, those numbers for staging and grading, all these little details, you need to review those. So if you have some notes for yourself or some, flashcards or something that you have your own to review those quickly, then that's good. Otherwise, the course can be helpful.
This is my own question. So the format, the structure of
Mhm.
ADAT questions are different
Yeah.
from AFK, right?
Yeah.
So even for clinical science, I would say maybe it's not a bad idea to just practice ADAT wise rather
Mhm.
than just,
Yeah,
you know what
so
I mean?
I'll just explain how different they are. AFK questions are like, hey, do you know about this little detail that was mentioned on that page? Like, it's not even clinically applicable. But ADAT questions are you a good clinician? If this patient comes in with these radiographs, these clinical photos, and this chief complaint, do you know what to do? Do you know what is your treatment plan? What is the prognosis you're going to give them? So it's very clinically applicable, and that's what I love about it. Like, if you think you're a good dentist and you have a clinical knowledge to be a good dentist, you won't struggle with the questions of ADAT in the clinical science only. Yeah, it is good to have a course or sample questions to familiarize yourself with the format. Um, if any of you have taken INDBE, the format is closer to INDBE, but the questions are more difficult than INDBE.
Okay, thank you. The main thing universities need is ADAT score, GPA, and IELTS.
Yes, in order to give you an interview. And then on the second stage of things, you'll have a bench test and you'll have an interview. So right now, every university out there has a bench. Let me just double check this before I say it. So McGill has a bench test and an interview. U of T only has an interview, which is good, I think. Western has a bench test and an interview. Alberta has a bench test. It says a pre-entry exam. So from what I've heard, there's not really a bench test wherein like you have to do an amalgam preparation or something like that. It's more like a OSCE style. So stations where you do diagnosis, treatment planning, etc. But it's in person. U of Saskatchewan has a bench test. U of Manitoba has a bench test. And what else is there? Dalhousie has a bench test as well.
Yeah, I didn't know McGill did. So McGill has
Yeah,
recently introduced that, right?
yeah, 2025. It was a 1 day practical bench test.
Okay. What if you're a Canadian citizen? Do you require to do IELTS? Yeah.
Yeah, so you can read this on any university's website, unless you have a bachelor degree in English or something like there's like some exceptions that are mentioned on the university page, which usually doesn't apply to us. Yeah, you need that.
Mhm. How long will it take to hear from universities after applying?
Okay, so again, this is something I would refer you to the university pages because they're very transparent about this. I'll give you an example for U of T. The deadline is end of June. Then you will hear back from them in end of September whether you got an interview or you were rejected. The interviews will be in October, late October, like the last 2 weeks of October. And then you will hear back from them within a week or two, and the course starts in January. That is for U of T. And others, you can just I'll refer you to the website. Like Western has a more continuous pathway. Like for example, it'll pick 40 participants for bench test in January. Then those after the bench test will have a virtual interview in February, and then offers of admission will be sent end of February. Then you will start next year in fall semester. So if you just go to the website of the university, it will say all of those dates.
Mhm. This question is related to it. I'm not sure. Again, like you have to see the university's specific requirements.
Mhm.
But they're asking if they apply for university in 2026, in which year they will get the admission. Is it 26, 27, or 28?
Yeah, so it depends on the start date of the program. Right now, the most efficient one is U of T because you apply, for example, those who've already applied this year will start this January if they get in. And that's
Mm.
very efficient. But the other ones, mostly it'll go to the next cycle, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So it's either the same year or 1 year after.
Yeah, only U of T is the same year. Others are like
Another,
next year.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Is passing AFK requirement for ADAT?
No, totally
No.
unrelated.
This is a question I don't really understand. Maybe you do. They're asking. please tell us, do they accept link grades? I don't know what that means.
Linked grades?
Link or links, like LINC.
Yeah, excuse me. It's ESL. It's a governmental.
Oh, yeah. So I know IELTS is accepted by all of the universities. So I recommend you just take IELTS and just don't worry about it after. But I know each university might have some exceptions that they accept. So again, I refer you to the university website, but I know that like some of them accept other exams as well. ESL, I don't think so. It'll be mostly like, oh, we also accept like TOEFL or something. But if you want to like have one exam that is fine with all of them, that's IELTS.
Can you apply after taking ADAT to Manitoba in the same year? Again, you're gonna have to check that with their website.
Sorry, can you say that again?
Can you apply after taking ADAT to Manitoba in the same year?
Manitoba. So I have all these tabs of these universities. I'm trying to like quickly, because Manitoba especially. Okay, so the Manitoba application deadline is from November till April. Then you will be notified mid-May if you're accepted for a test. Then late June, you will have a bench test. And then you will have an online interview. And then in September, you will know if you got into the program. And then next year it starts. Does that make sense?
Next year, yeah. Next year, like in
So
January?
I'll say that again. So for example, right now we are August 2025, and you will take your exam in March 2026. You will apply in November 2026. You will have your bench test in June 2026. You will have your hopefully your acceptance letter in September 2026, and your school will start because there's a summer course and then there's a 2-year program. That's why I said 2.5. So then your summer school will start in summer of 2027.
Okay. Okay. Well,
So
that's
it
a
sets you
long
back a lot.
journey.
Yeah.
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 By basic science, you mean biomedical science?
Yes. Yes. So
Yeah.
in AFK, you had lectures called Biomedical Science, which was a combination of basic science and biostat, both and ethics. And I think some like miscellaneous topics were just added on to that, such as, sterilization, these kind of vaccination, these kind of topics were just added to it. But by basic science, I just said the topics anatomy, physiology, microbiology, biochemistry, pathology. That's about it. That's about it. And all of the body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With Canadian permanent residency, can we take IMBD exam?
Yes. Doesn't have anything to do with your residency. You can take it.
And how much is ADAT course with Confidentials?
That'll have you answer.
I'm gonna give you the answer for that, right? Just give me a second. So we have 2 courses. So if you want a full course, which covers everything, I mean by everything, I mean the 3 parts of ADAT, it's 4,000 right now. Okay, so because I don't know why there is a discount going on, but the regular price is 4,200, but right now it's 4. We have another course which covers only biomedical and biostatistics, which is 2,200, right? So if you were our students, I believe that you will be entitled to a discount as well.
Okay. By the way, I just found out the fee for ADAT exam on the fee guide. Actually, I encourage every one of you to go to Google after this call and search ADAT Candidate Guide 2025 and download that PDF, and it answers like a lot of questions. So I'm looking at the examination fees. It is 435 USD. That's the fee for the for the exam. Of course, there's going to be tax and stuff, and this is in US dollars. So
Mhm. Thank you.
you're welcome.
For enrolling into university, you must be a resident. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, but like I am 100% sure that in Canada you have to be a resident. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be. Manitoba had some exceptions before, but I think they removed that.
Yeah, honestly, you don't want to pay international tuition anyways.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, that's true. Is having a higher IELTS a positive point, or the competition is in the exam course only?
I think it matters. I think yes, your IELTS score matters, but also the better your English is, the better your interview is gonna be.
Okay. How much is around for the universities, or how does the loans work?
So there's no loan. There's a depending on which province you are, you will receive a loan, interest-free loan from the government of your province. So I'm from British Columbia. I received a grant and a loan every year. So that depends on your tuition and a lot of factors. It is not a lot, but it's better than nothing. The best is obviously a province of Quebec, which your tuition basically comes to zero if you're from Quebec. But otherwise, you get a little bit of money from province, and then you will have a line of credit from either CIBC or Scotiabank. Those are the two main banks that are providing line of credits for dentists and dental students. It will be a maximum of $350,000 with an interest fee of, right now with the interest fees that are it'll be the fee, like, you know, the fee changes every year, but it'll be like 5%-ish right now. And so the amount of money you withdraw, you will pay interest only on that. That's the difference with the loan. So you have that whole credit, but you can only use, like, if you've used only 20K, you will only be paying interest on that 20K. So it's better than a loan. And that's your limit, 350, and yeah. So everyone gets that, and that's how they pay.
That's good to know. Thank you for that. And studying in the university, can you work part-time or classes are full-time?
I am working part-time with Confidentist. You can. I know people in my class that work at gym as instructors. It is a full-time university. So again,
I
like,
mean, like, this is again my own question. How does it work? Do you have like assignments, essays, projects to do, homework?
yeah, so it's different each university. Like, when I compare my life to my friend who is in U of T, I'm really happy I didn't go to U of T. But McGill is pretty chill. We have lectures. A lot of them are not attendance mandatory. So, and they get recorded, so you can go home and like play it on twice the speed and watch the lecture. Then you have patients that you schedule yourself, and you have credits that you need to fulfill. So you need to do a maximum, like a minimum of fillings, minimum of endos, and then you have exams, assignments, not really, except for like research lectures and stuff like that. You will have a few assignments here and there. But the thing that takes most of my time is last year it was the preclinic, which was, you know, phantom labs and working on plastic teeth. The credits were quite a lot, and the exams were quite picky, so I wanted to really be prepared for it. Of course, there's two ways of doing this. Like, I have classmates that barely show up and they're fine, like they just want to pass. And then there's others who like understand that this is their chance to become the best dentist that they can. So I went every weekend to practice, and it was my personal choice. And that means I didn't really have enough time to work part-time, but if you work part-time, it's mostly because you want to work part-time, not because it's going to significantly help you with the expenses. That's what I'm saying. Like, your tuition and your life expenses are so much that working is not really gonna do much, unfortunately.
Yeah, working to pay that off, you need a
Yeah, it's
professional
just,
job.
if you work part-time, like everyone I know in our class that's working part-time, it's because they love that job. It's, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you pay loan to the bank once you are graduated with the interest?
Yes, the 5% interest, you have to pay it back. Yeah.
I think the interest you're gonna have to pay from the beginning, right? Like
Yeah,
whatever that you that
accumulates.
whatever.
Yeah. As soon as you spend, the interest starts accumulating. And then once you graduate, I think you have like a 6 month of whatever period where you can just wait, and then you have to start paying back. But don't worry about it. From my field research, dentists who have graduated with similar amounts of debt say that they haven't struggled a lot in paying back. They usually pay it back within 5 to 10 years. Easy.
Could you please share all the information in one platform? What does that mean? What do you mean exactly? Doctor, if you could unmute yourself and tell me what you mean, that would be really appreciated. No? Okay. So all the information, I still don't understand. You mean university admission?
I think if you're asking us to summarize the information for each university in a table that just Dela recommended you should do, we do that in the interview course. So once you take your ADAT, there's an interview course where we guide you through your options, and also we prepare you for the interviews. And that's where we discuss each university separately, and then you can even reach out to me and be like, I'm from here, these are my options, these are my priorities, which ones do you think I should apply? And we'll come up with a plan. But we don't have that in the ADAT course, because in ADAT, the focus is just getting you to score the highest you can.
Thank you again. And does the loan from bank cover food and residence, or only the tuition from university?
It is $350,000. The most expensive university out there is University of Alberta with $100K every year. The cheapest should be McGill. I'm paying $36K this year. So you can figure out.
Yeah.
I think
Okay,
you should be fine with food and residence and everything else. Don't worry.
Yeah, it depends on your lifestyle, I would say.
But with Alberta, it'll be tricky because 3 years, $100K every year, it's $300K already. So you'll be a little bit tricky. But then you have help with the government. I'll just give you an example. This year, my tuition is $36K. BC gave me $30K of money. From this $30K, $7K was grant, meaning I don't have to pay it back, and the rest was loan interest free. So that almost covers all of my tuition. And then the rest comes out of my line of credit.
So how many years do you have to study in university? I know McGill is 3 and others are 2. No, is somehow any difference about both?
Well, so I have these tabs open here. Yeah, McGill is 3 years now. Toronto 2.5. Western 3. Alberta 3. Saskatchewan, it says 2.5, but okay, let's just say 2.5 for now. Manitoba 2.5 years. Dalhousie 3, and that's it.
Yeah. The question is there any difference? I don't think so, because you just joined already the current students that are in dentistry, right?
There is differences. So for example, U of T, you become an IDAP, which is the name of their program for internationally trained dentists. You become an IDAP student and you remain an IDAP student. You never fully integrate into the cohort.
Oh,
But
okay.
McGill, we really literally showed up at their class and we integrated. No one really knows who's already a dentist, who's not, which can be good and bad. There are differences between each program. I again suggest that you first get the best score that you can, and then you will do some research yourself. You will try and talk to the students in each university, find out which ones suits your personality better. Some universities, like U of T has a lot of focus on scores, on competitivity, on applying for residency, all those good stuff. McGill focuses more on learning. We don't have any residents, so we do a lot of hands-on things, we have the option of doing things that usually residents would do.
Mm,
And each university is different. Like Alberta has a really good focus on implants, so programs are different. Yeah.
mhm. Okay. This is a very good question, which I wanted to ask myself as well.
Mhm.
So how can we manage our study time if you want to take both ADAT and ACJ?
Yeah, very good question, and depends on who's asking and when it's asking. Dr. Jaffarian, I'm assuming you're confident with your clinical knowledge since you've just taken AFK. If I were you and I wanted to take both, I would take ADAT in May, and then that'll give you enough time to study for ACJ in November.
I think it depends on what your priority is. What is your plan A? What is your plan B? If
Mhm.
your plan A is university, obviously you're gonna have to put more time for ADAT first.
Yeah.
Take that and just leave that behind and then move forward with ACJ.
Exactly, because ACJ knowledge is not going to help your ADAT a lot.
Hmm,
Okay.
that's a good point.
Yeah, like AFK and ADAT, they can help each other, but ADAT and ACJ not really. And ADAT, to me, was a very complicated, like, I don't want to scare anyone, but I was feeling burnt out near the end. So to add ACJ to that, being like, oh, you're going to study ACJ and ADAT at the same time, it doesn't make sense to me. Just to me. Maybe it does to you.
I don't think that's a good idea personally because ACJ it might seem easy, but it's not. Like it's a very tricky, heavy exam. You're gonna have to spend time on it.
I would separate them at least.
Yeah,
However you do it, separate it.
yeah. Does Ontario give grants for University of Toronto or Western? Do you know about that?
Doesn't matter which university you go to, wherever you're from. So like my university is in Quebec, but I am from BC. So you get from wherever you're from will give you a grant based on your tuition.
Yeah, Dela. I think it's called OSAP in Ontario.
Yeah. So the amounts are
Yeah.
different. So Ontario, I think, gives a lower total but bigger grant. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think that's pretty much it. So and there's another question. I am not sure about it, but maybe you have an idea. I
Yeah.
do have an idea, but like if they're asking with equivalency,
Yeah.
which states we can work in the US? I would say no states.
No, there are some states, I'll tell you right now. So the way it works is, well, you'll have to figure out your work permit and everything separately. But when you have a Canadian license, you are able to work in some states. I think,
Is it Canadian license or Canadian DDS plus Canadian license?
good question.
I think that is because that's what I took away from what NDEB used to have on their website, but they removed it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna pause on that because I know my classmates, some of them get the Canadian license and then work in states of Washington, which is like Seattle, some states. But maybe it's because they're also graduated from a CODA accredited program.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll hold on that. Good. Thanks for
Yeah, this
yeah.
is because this question was asked a lot, and this is like my takeaway was that you're gonna have to be an accredited graduate.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Um, I'm sorry that I can't answer this question. I think you could find your answer in the licensing body of each state. So if you know which state you want to work in, just say like Washington State dental licensing, and then there will be an official government website, and then there will be like, these are the requirements.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. And I don't think we have much time left. We have 6 minutes.
Okay.
For you, like I'm gonna stay
Yeah.
afterwards for a little longer.
Sure.
If you have a previous loan from OSAP, does bank loan you money or those two are not related? I don't think they're related.
I don't think they're related. The bank is not loaning, like, yeah, the bank is a line of credit. As long as your credit score is fine.
Yeah, they don't have anything to do with each other.
I don't think either. Yeah.
I don't see any more questions. I think we cover everything about ADA University.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hannah, for
Course.
spending the time.
Of course.
And I think everybody has your number and everybody have my number. So
Yeah.
we're here to help you like with any question that you might have. If you want to leave, like I know that you hadn't like
Yeah, I
something
got a
like
rush, but
yeah, yeah.
really nice to meet you, everyone. I am wishing you best of luck. Hopefully you'll receive your AFK results soon and you'll all be passing. And I am again online Monday and Thursday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And if it's an urgent question, I'll try to answer when I see it, but otherwise be patient with me because those are my working hours. Yeah, best of luck and have a good rest of your day. Thank you, Della.
Thank you so
everyone.
much. Thank
Bye-bye.
you, lovely seeing you. Bye. Okay, so everybody, hi again. If you have any questions about direct licensing and ACJ, I'm here for you. So, I know that Dr. Tuktam just messaged me. I will give you her number. Okay. I know that a lot of you are like struggling right now on what to do now, what to do now. I think we answered that question uh among the like when we were talking. Um, right now you have to see what your priority is. Okay, so as Dr. Hannah mentioned, and I agree, you're gonna have to have plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. All right. So how many as many as plans that you can just have. If your plan A is going to university, okay, if your plan A is going to university, definitely now that you're fresh with AFK and the clinical science part, you're gonna have to focus on ADAT first and forget about ACJ for now. All right. And just move on with ADAT. Take your ADAT in May, and as Dr. Hannah said, and then after that, you can start studying for ACJ at November. All right, don't do them together because they're two different exams, two different concepts, and you will lose both if you want to focus on if you want to like do them at the same time. All right. Another thing is that a lot of people ask me if you're able to take ACJ in November. Okay, this November, this coming November. Very unlikely. Okay. So very unlikely. Like you might be able to. I'm not saying it's not possible, but the seats are already full. Okay. The seats are already full. You might be able to get a seat until the deadline. All right. But I wouldn't rush it. All right. So if again, like you're one of those people who wants to like finish it as fast as you can start studying like full engine. All right. Full engine and just hope that you get a seat for November. And then after the deadline, you will see that if you do get a seat or not, and then just you know what's gonna happen. If not, just again wait for May. But if your plan A is direct licensing, again, do not stop studying. Just don't stop. Don't break your flow. Just keep consistent. All right. Start studying. Start studying. All right. You can even join the course now, the ongoing course that is going on, and start studying with them. All right. Without the pressure and stress of the exam. Okay. And well, you know that 24-month policy, and you will be able to postpone your mock exams and join the course again in the next semester when you want to take the exam in May. Okay. So that's what I would do personally. Like if it was me, because you're not fresh now, your information about AFK, your knowledge from the AFK is gonna help you with your ACJ a lot. So if you want to take the gap, like the next course I think will start in November or December, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of it's gonna be gone. But if you don't break this flow and keep your consistency, it's gonna help you a lot. So what I would do is just I would join a course to start studying slowly, postpone my mock exams and join the next course again in the next semester to prepare myself for May. So yeah. So if you were thinking about what to do now is based on your priority and what your plan A is. Ideally, how many months should we study for ACJ? I would say 4 to 5. 4 to 5 months. But it's not as much as AFK. Like the material that you have, it's not like it's maybe 50%. less than AFK. So you have only 2 booklets, but the lectures are more important. Like ACJ is very much technique sensitive. You're gonna have to know how to deal with the questions because it also has negative marking. Okay, so you're gonna have to know how to deal with these questions. The lectures are way more important, like the booklet, like for AFK, you have to know every single word that was in your notes, and with ACJ, it's not quite like that. But the lectures are very more important. Again, like you have to know how to answer a specific question. Which of the equivalency exam is the toughest? That's a very good question and a very hard question to answer. I would say yes, skills exam. The equivalent, the NDEC skills part. Reason being is that it's very, very, very subjective. And yeah, so you will not know why you failed. You will not know why you passed. And you don't really know what they want from you. So, and it's very expensive. Like you have to spend a lot of money for it. So it will put a lot of more pressure on you. So I would say, yeah, clinical skills part. If you start studying now for ACJ means self-study the material you have because they're most finishing, or how will it work? If you start studying for ACJ now, as I mentioned, it's not a very ideal time to study for November. But if you want to do that, you have to study every day, try to finish the lectures as soon as you can, and then take the mock exams. Like, if you want, you can come to the office and take the mock exams there. I don't think it's a good idea to start studying for November ACJ right now, because I think the course is already like moving forward towards mock exams. If you want to start, if you have already taken your AFK and you want to start for ACJ, it's a very good idea. It's a very good idea, but I wouldn't attempt, like I wouldn't try for November. It's a lot of pressure. Generally speaking, guys, like what you have to accept with this process, if you want to do equivalency, you have to accept that it is potentially gonna be a very long journey and you cannot rush it, because rushing it, like I know people that have finished everything in 1.5 years, 2 years. They got lucky, they're exceptions. All right, so most people cannot do that, so you have to accept that. If you're waiting for AFK exam results and I want to start ACJ course and if I don't pass, I don't get your question. So basically, let's say that you're waiting for AFK exam results and you start your ACJ. All right, you still have 24 months access to ACJ course. So you will pause your ACJ. If you, let's say that you get your result and you don't pass, you will pause your ACJ. You still have 24 months access to AFK course. You can start AFK again. And then after you pass your AFK, you can join the ACJ course again. Do they give the credit line also for the direct licensing? Yes, they do. After you pass your AFK, you will have the option of getting a line from CIBC. Before AFK, you can get a loan from Windmill Microlending. How many attempts do you have for ACJ? You have 3 attempts for ACJ. You have multiple attempts for NDECC in the duration of 5 years after you pass your ACJ. Start now to study for ACJ in May. It will be a new course starting now, or we join the current course. Okay. So what I would do is I would join the you have 2 options. Let me put it this way. You have 2 options. You can join the current course, all right? Start studying, go on, like start studying with pre-recorded lectures on your own pace, all right? And postpone your mock exams and then join the upcoming course again, like join the upcoming course again, or the next course. You can join the extended course, all right? You can join the extended course now. I think it starts in November, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure. You can join the extended course, or you can join the comprehensive course, all right? What I would do, I would join the course now. Why? Because I'm fresh with all of my AFK information and knowledge. I don't want to wait until November. you know, to just because a lot of this is gonna go away. All right. So I would join the course now. I would start watching the lectures. I would start studying slowly with my own pace. And then you have 24 months access to the course. I would postpone my mock exams and I would again join the next course with the new course that is going on in November or December, if I'm not mistaken. I hope that makes sense. Do we have any more questions, guys? I think I answered everything that I have here. Let me just give you an idea. So from what I see here, just give me 1 second. I have to check something. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I just wanted to check that if it started the course, the next course does in November, which it does. Like the extended course starts in November. Okay, if you don't have any more questions, I would say goodbye to you. Oh, another question. Since you mentioned plan A, B, and C, and D, what other options if you have other than NDEB and join University of DDS? Okay, so that depends on your expectations on life and your goals generally towards life, not only academics. Like as Hannah said, she doesn't want to be bound to Canada. Or you don't want to be bound to dentistry even. Plan A, B would be the direct equivalency and going to school in Canada. You can have plan C as going to school in the US. All right, so that's also an option. So you can take your IMBDE and apply for schools in the States, which is a very good option as well. Like if you get in, that's believable. Get rid of an NDEB stuff and you will be going to the US. You will be exploring and you'll be experiencing another life. You will have the option of work and live in the US. Another thing that a lot of people do, I am not encouraging that at all, but that's an option as plan D. If none of this works out, you can always go into hygiene. All right. But I'm not encouraging that. It's last resort. If none of this works out, somebody might say, okay, I don't want to put myself in any of these challenges. I don't want to take any exams. I don't want to go to school. I don't want to put myself under this pressure. Yes, hygiene. Very straightforward, very easy. How many booklets do we have for ADAT? I mean, comparing to AFK Levels 11. Honestly, I don't know that, dog. Give me like remind me on Monday. I can ask. I don't know. How much will be the expense for clearing the licensing expenses in the first attempt? I would say 17,000, maybe. If you do in the first attempt. For hygiene, you need to go to school here, yes. It's a lot easier than going through NDEB equivalency or going through dental school. Again, guys, I don't want to put ideas in your head. Don't even think about that right now. That is plan F, okay? So forget it. You're dentist. You want to be dentist here. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you all for coming. I think Dr. Hannah put her number here, so you can message her. You all already have my number as well. I don't know how I can message to the whole group. So you have my number anyways. So yeah, lovely talking to you all. I wish you the best of luck waiting for good news for your AFK. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.